got a committee looking into whistleblowing on the Isle of Man. Take us back to the start. What's the background to this?
Well, I initially brought a motion forward because there was a number of concerns that constituents had brought to me, and with regards to whistleblowing or concerns at work. And when I looked into the policy and that, I did think that perhaps that it could be updated or looked at further. And it was at the same time, actually, when there was a lot of whistleblowing cases coming forward in the UK. So I thought clearly it's something that people have an interest in. Perhaps our policy wasn't as up to date as it could be.
Now, you'll have started looking into what the policy is. I mean, what is the current system for whistleblowing?
The current system that we have in government, and my concern is to make sure that it's independent. The current system we have in government is that if somebody puts in a case, it's investigated by its own department. And I don't feel that that is correct. And obviously it would put people off bringing forward any concerns that they may have. There's quite clear guidelines as to what concerns you should bring forward, and particularly anything that's in the public interest with regards to health and safety and things at work. So it would be very difficult if you're working to bring something forward when you know that it's going to be looked at by your own department officials or managers that perhaps are above you. During
the debate back in March, Mr Henderson said using the term whistleblowing could be stigmatised. Are you looking at that as a broader issue as well?
The committee's remit is to look at the effectiveness of the policy, but clearly we will be discussing whether that is the correct wording for the policy, and we will be coming back with recommendations. I know in other jurisdictions they don't use that terminology, so it will be something that we look at.
Now, you're looking for submissions. What sort of submissions are you looking for? Who are you hoping will get in touch?
Well, obviously on the island there's been a few cases recently that have been reported in the press. There's people, and they're mainly from the private sector. It's mainly trying to establish whether there is a particular issue or whether perhaps people haven't reported things because they are afraid to, or is it the mechanism for reporting it? I think one of the things I stated in the debate was, should it be like an online portal that it is independent and the person's been able to do it, but it's then how do you scrutinise that really and make sure that they are all genuine. So, but the committee will be looking at all aspects, and I'd encourage people to come forward who have perhaps don't even know there's a policy in place to be able to report concerns at work. But it's any concern that they might have had in the workplace, but haven't brought it forward because of whatever reason. They only know that themselves, and it's not necessarily just government policy. We want to make sure that what we're bringing forward, or if there is any changes or recommendations to be made, that they're the right ones for the island, for everybody.
You've just mentioned there that it would be broader than just government policy. How would you roll out something to the private sector in the Isle of Man?
It's not so much that we're looking at that, but obviously we have become aware due to reporting in the papers that there has been issues outside of government. So we want to look at it to see, is it a bigger issue, and it all depends on what information we receive as a committee as to what we go forward with.
And it can be a very sensitive issue. People are often fearful about coming forward. You're looking for evidence. How can you guarantee those people will be able to maintain anonymity if they feel they need it?
That's the whole part of when we've called for evidence. We have asked people that they have to express that they don't want any of their evidence published. So it is up to the individual when they're coming forward to the committee to submit that within whatever they're submitting to the committee.
And what's the timeline for reporting?
The deadline that we've put on this is the 20th of June, which is obviously, it's a 3-week period that it's open for. And then, we'll see what information we have at that point. And work with that, and then go forward as a committee to see what the next step is from there.
And you have had the cooperation of the Council of Ministers on this. Certainly during the debate, the Policy and Reform Minister said he was in support and would give you any information you needed when you were taking evidence.
That's correct. I think it was unanimous from the Council of Ministers. And I think probably due to, during the debate, the fact that I did highlight how it wasn't currently independent, and I think that people would feel the island's a small place, and like you say, that people can be easily identified, and I think it's this independent reporting of issues that I think would be really helpful to support everybody plus government, and it perhaps be a better way forward than things getting investigated internally within departments.
Now, when you're looking at policy governing whistleblowing, how can you put safeguards in place to make sure that people are not coming forward with malicious complaints and accusations?
I think we've made it clear from the press release that the committee can only look at what evidence is in front of it. We can't look at live cases. If somebody's coming forward because they've got a situation, I think it would be quite obvious, really. But you can't, you can't say that. I think we've got to see the evidence, and then as a committee, it's not just down to me as a chair. I've got my two colleagues on, which I'm really pleased to have, is Jane Peel-Wilson and Kerry Sharp. We need to work together with what information's in front of us, and then decide. We still have options that we can call people in front of the committee, and. That could be oral or could be private or public evidence. So there are options, and I think that's the great thing about committee work. It does give you the option to explore every avenue when you're looking at a topic.